Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're pulling out the crystal ball and taking a massive leap into the future of rugby. We're going to predict who will be the top 100 players in the world come 2026. Now, this is a huge task, and it's all about projecting form, potential, and who will be at their absolute peak right before the next Rugby World Cup. It's a blend of established superstars who are still going strong, and the next generation of talent ready to explode onto the scene. So grab a seat, this is going to be a fun one. Let's start by setting the scene for 2026. The game will be faster, more dynamic, and the demands on players will be even greater. Versatility and a high rugby IQ will be just as important as raw power and speed. We're looking for players who will not just be good, but will be defining the way rugby is played. All right, let's dive into the front row. In the loose head prop position, guys like Andrew Porter will still be a dominant force for Ireland, bringing that incredible work rate and scrummaging power. But keep a very close eye on young guns like Bevan Rodd from England, and maybe even some emerging talent from the Southern Hemisphere. For the hookers, Dan Sheehan is already one of the best in the world, and by 2026, he could be the undisputed number one. His combination of set-piece accuracy and open field running is simply phenomenal. Piato Mauvaka for France will also be right there at the top. Moving to tight head, someone like Tadej Furlong might still be around, but the torch will likely be passed. Winnie Antonio's heir in France, perhaps Georges-Henri Colombe, will be a massive presence, and Xander Fegerson for Scotland will be in his prime. Now, let's talk about the engine room, the second row. We're talking about giants who can do it all. Tadej Berne, with his unique ability to be a menace at the breakdown while also being a brilliant line-out operator, will still be a key player for Ireland. For England, Maro Itoje will be entering the veteran stage of his career, but his intelligence and leadership will keep him in the top echelon. The real excitement comes from the new crop. Imagine a fully developed Emmanuel Meafou for France, a colossal player with surprisingly soft hands. And don't forget about the Springboks production line. There's always another giant lock waiting in the wings. Cameron Woki of France, with his athletic prowess, will likely be one of the best in the world, capable of playing lock or flanker at the highest level. Moving into the back row, this is where the athletes really shine. At blindside flanker, Peter-Steph Dutoit will be a seasoned veteran, but his incredible engine might just keep him at the top. Younger players like Tom Willis of England could be making a serious claim. On the open side, the conversation has to include Josh van der Flier, a former World Player of the Year who will still be performing at an elite level. His competition will be fierce, though. Think about Ben Earl for England, whose explosive power will be at its peak, and the ever-present French captain Charles Olivon will still be a huge influence. And at number 8, we have some absolute superstars. Caelan Doris for Ireland is already world-class and will only get better. He's the complete package. Gregory Aldrit of France will be his main rival, a true leader who carries his team forward. And of course, Ardi Savia. Even in his early 30s, his explosive power and skill set could very well keep him in the conversation for the best player on the planet. Now for the halfbacks, the decision-makers. At scrum half, the maestro Antoine Dupont will still be the benchmark. He will be 29, at the absolute peak of his powers, and likely still captaining the best team in the world. His vision, speed, and skill are simply on another level. But don't sleep on players like Jamison Gibson-Park, whose tempo and decision-making will keep him relevant, and the next generation, like the exciting young French scrum half Nolan Le Garec. At fly half, this is where it gets really interesting. Romain Ntamack, if he stays injury-free, will be conducting that brilliant French backline. His partnership with Dupont is telepathic. Marcus Smith for England will have had years to mature and could be the creative genius the team is built around. But what about Damien Penaud? He's primarily a winger now, but many in France believe his best position could eventually be fly half, and by 2026, that switch might have happened, making him one of the most dangerous playmakers in the world. And from the Southern Hemisphere, Damian McKenzie's flair and versatility for the All Blacks will keep him firmly in the top tier, while Manny Libbok could have polished his game to become a truly elite orchestrator for the Springboks. Let's head out to the centers. Inside center is a brutal position. Jordy Barrett's transition to number 12 for the All Blacks has been a masterstroke, and by 2026, he'll be one of the most dominant midfielders in the game. His size, kicking game, and distribution are a triple threat. For Ireland, Bundy Aki might still be making an impact, but look for younger players to step up. Jonathan Danty for France is a wrecking ball and will be at his destructive best. At outside center, the conversation starts with Gary Ringrose. His defensive intelligence and attacking lines are world-class. He'll be a leader for Ireland. Rieko Ioane for the All Blacks will be in his prime, a blur of speed and power. And then there's the Fijian influence. Imagine a fully realized Waisia Nyakalevu or Semi Radradra, still bringing that unbelievable X-factor. Finally, the back three. This is where the speed merchants and try-scorers live. On the wings, we have to talk about Damien Penaud again. Assuming he stays on the wing, he's a try-scoring machine. The same goes for Cheslin Kolbe and Kurt Lee Arendse for South Africa. Their footwork and finishing ability are just magical. Mark Tele A for the All Blacks has burst onto the scene and will be even more dangerous in a few years. And don't forget about the aerial prowess of a player like Mac Hansen for Ireland. At fullback, the number 15 jersey will be hotly contested. Thomas Ramos for France is the complete package. Solid under the high ball, a reliable goal kicker, and a brilliant attacker. Hugo Keenan for Ireland is the epitome of consistency and positional excellence. And then there's the English prodigy, Freddie Stewart. His dominance in the air is already legendary, and by 2026, he could be the undisputed best fullback in the world, with an even more developed attacking game. So, when you start to put all these names together, from the grizzled veterans to the rising stars, you begin to see the shape of world rugby in 2026. The Northern Hemisphere, particularly France and Ireland, looks set to continue its dominance, with a wealth of talent coming through at the perfect time. But you can never, ever write off the Southern Hemisphere giants. The All Blacks are rebuilding. The Springboks have a winning formula. And Argentina is always capable of an upset. Predicting a full 100 players is an exercise in speculation, but it asks the names we by phone but discussed today that will form the core of that list. Players like Dupont, Doris, Sheehan, and Ramos are on track to be the faces of the sport. The real excitement will be watching the young players we've mentioned, and even some we haven't, develop and challenge the established order. Who will have a breakout season? Who will come from nowhere to become a superstar? That's the beauty of sport. This is just my take, and I know you guys will have your own opinions. Who did I miss? Who am I overrating? Let me know down in the comments below. I want to hear your predictions for the top players of 2026. It's always great to get a good debate going. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the future of rugby, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We've got plenty more analysis, predictions, and discussions coming your way. Until next time, take care.